struggling with a bank. We're trying to switch our money over.
Hey, Carolyn.
Good morning, Casey.
Good morning.
And they won't allow me, even though I'm a joint account holder, to have a conversation with anybody. And I'm like, what is this all about?
Ask them if your account says and or if it says or. We had that problem in Tennessee with license plate registration.
Right.
Like if it said Casey and Jeff Prince, then we both had to be there for anything. If it said Casey or Jeff Prince, either one of us could be there. Is it?
Yeah, we're or.
I don't know. That's crazy. Kimberly.
Suspicious.
Well, exactly. It just makes me angry that I don't have equal rights.
Yep,
to
I'm here.
money.
Sorry, I was just waiting for everybody to. I am just waiting on a couple more people to.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to ask you a question.
And I've got some people asking me a few questions, so I'm going to just let them ask real quick and then I'll be ready to get going.
Yeah, no problem. Just let me know when you guys are ready.
Thank you.
I started inputting my,
I saw where you put some people in.
and I didn't see cause halfway through where it said private or team. So some of them leads went to team.
You want them all to be team. Team,
No, I don't, honey.
team means I can help you. If you put them as private and you need me to help you with it, I can't because I can't see it. Nobody can see it but me and you. We're the only two people.
Nobody else.
So you want it to be
My
team.
leads was going out to other
No, if
people, and I was putting
in this case, team means you can see it and I can see it, and so I can help
She
you.
had bazooka gun. She didn't want anybody to have her leads.
Well, I didn't finish my homework,
That's okay.
but I worked on it.
So the columns that you gave us have to be in that order? They
No.
don't?
That's just
A guide.
just a guide to make it easier for you. It doesn't have to be exact. It was to give you something to work from if you wanted to. The system's smart. When you pull things in and they've got headers, it's going to try to match them up with what's already there. That's just, we know those match. So that was what we were doing with
I
that.
thought it had to look exactly like you set it up. That's why it's been taking me so long to get my database set up.
Well, and I thought even if I put, cause a lot of mine looked like it went in family members, and these are definitely not family members. So I thought, well, maybe later on, when I got more custom, I could, Cheryl, I've got to show you where my granddaughter was teaching me the new name.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So Kimberly, if you want to go ahead and get us started, I've got you up on the screen. I've only got 2 people in the office with me right now. I don't know where in the world everyone else is. But I just sent out a reminder to people to jump on the link that you sent. So
Okay, yeah, no problem. And it's recording right now. So if they do miss it, I'll send you all of the recap after. Okay.
so regardless, even if it was just me and you, it would be helpful for them to have this recorded. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen. If it's just going to be 2 of us, honestly, like it's gonna be very intimate. So if you guys need to like interrupt me and ask a question, I'm okay with that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
If
so
they need to ask something, I'll shout it out for you.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah,
You
if
don't
there was
have that
gonna be,
screen.
I was gonna say if there's gonna be more people, then we would just have to wait till I ask questions, but it should be okay.
She just needs me.
Okay, Casey, you see my screen here?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so give me a moment here. And my only ask is that just mute yourself so that way I don't hear myself echoing if anything in the background. And if whenever you guys need to ask a question, just unmute, okay? And I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Okay, so thank you all for joining today's session. I wanted to just kind of book this session with Casey and you guys because just to take some time to go over the CRM in a slower pace for you guys. If you feel like I'm going too fast, just let me know. But if you guys have any questions, just reach out, okay? So today we'll be covering Lofty 101, which is the dashboard overview and CRM settings. This is just basically the very basic fundamentals of getting started with Lofty. So by the end of this training, you should know how to set up your Lofty profile and how to manage all of your CRM settings. So then you'll be ready to start communicating with your leads through the Lofty platform. My name is Kimberly and I am your guys' customer success account manager for your account here at Lofty. You're going to notice here that our Lofty supports team info is also here on the slide. They are your agent and your team's point of contact. So anytime you have any tech issues or questions, don't hesitate to reach out to them. However, Casey, if your agents need to escalate a problem and you feel like they're not getting through with support, you're more than welcome to forward me their concerns and I can help to escalate them, okay? They are available 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. time Eastern time. I'll be sending this presentation deck along with the recorded video of our session today, so you don't feel like you have to write anything down or take any notes. You'll be able to reference all of this information later. Now, my advice to you guys is that just pay attention to the screen, because if you start following along, you might miss out on some things, and a lot of the information can be a lot at the same time. It could be overwhelming. So you can always reference back to this later on in the video, or if you have any questions once you start utilizing the system. So today's agenda, we'll just be talking about the dashboard, and then we'll talk about a little bit more about the lead score and the opportunities within the dashboard, and then we'll talk about the settings. Okay, so nothing too overcomplicating. So I'm just going to move over to my live demo here. So just give me a second. Sure, find the right one. Okay, so this demo account may look different than yours, but it's completely okay. We're just going to be going over what's on this dashboard here and then the settings tab, okay? Just give me a second. Okay. So when you first log in, this is what you see on your dashboard. Now keep in mind that you can toggle between your team's dashboard and your dashboard. All you have to do is just click on this and it'll just bring you to whichever dashboard that you want to access. Now, for the agent's point of view, they might or might not see the team dashboard. If you just see your dashboard, then that's okay. But for Casey, you can always toggle between the two. Okay. So that's just that option right over there. Now, when you see your dashboard, this gives you an overview of what you have going on for the day, and it's just basically a great place to organize your day. So in this section right over here, you have the new leads section in this box. So here you can see any new leads that were routed to you, whether it came from your site or your integrations like Zillow or whatever else you might have set up. Any new leads will show in this section right over here, okay? And then moving over to the next box right over here, these are your opportunities. Now, the opportunities are leads that you should engage with right away. We wanted to give you guys a streamlined way to focus your attention on active leads, so we created opportunities. Now, there's going to be 4 different kinds of opportunities. I don't expect you guys to remember this offhand, but what they are is high interest, back to site, selling, and back on market. And any leads that exhibit these behaviors will be identified as an opportunity for you. And there is a Lofty Help Center article to explain more about the opportunities and how we pull them from our system. And then later on, when we go through the settings tab, we'll talk about the notifications, and within the notifications, there is an opportunities tab in there. And then you'll see more details on that later. Okay. So again, the 4 different kinds of opportunities are leads that have high interest, leads that go back to the site, selling, and back on market. And any leads that exhibit these behaviors will be identified as an opportunity for you. Okay. And then right below it, you'll see right over here. So since those are considered hot leads, the lead score that is greater than 70 in this box basically is an AI-based scoring system that helps you determine the lead priority. Lofty automatically assigns a lead score for you. So leads with high lead scores are clients with certain behaviors, such as going back to the site several times or saving listings. So lead scores are usually higher when the system has confirmed this is someone with a valid phone number or an email address. And we also know that these leads are also engaged or interested. So all of those things factor into the lead score. So the higher the lead score, the hotter the lead. In our second training session, I'm going to talk more about how these lead scores are generated here, okay? So we want you guys to get in the habit of checking your opportunities every day. So then moving over to the next box right over here, which are your tasks. So very simple, they're just basically your tasks that you have set yourself for a lead. So like scheduling an open house or a walkthrough, or if you need to remind yourself to call someone, whatever you set for your day as a reminder will show here as it comes due. Now you're going to notice that throughout different parts of the CRM system, you can access your tasks. So this is just one way of seeing it from an overview. And then next over here are your business goals. These are set by the admin for your team, like Casey. So goals will show here if they choose to utilize the space. And then if you move further down right over here, which is the hot listings, this will be talked about in a separate training session as well. But essentially in here, you can create a hot sheet of listings that you can access to when you first sign into Lofty, and it'll show in this section here. Okay. And like I'd mentioned, we'll cover this. This will be covered in greater detail in the listing management training. Now, the default choices are open house listings, price reduced, and back on market. Okay. And then moving over to the left-hand side, which is the smart listings box. This area shows listings that are feeding through your MLS and some of the activity that's going on with that listing. So lofting your MLS database should communicate about every minute, every 15 minutes or so. I can mute it for you. All good, Casey. Okay, so again, this will be outlined more so in the listings management training. All right. And then if you just move a little bit further down right over here, you'll see company announcements. This is again also set by the owner or the admin. It doesn't have to be used. This is also just based on team preferences. And then you got here smart plans and property emails. These are just based on yesterday's summary. And then you got these little boxes here, which are just quick access shortcuts to get into the Lofty Learning Center, which I'll explain in a bit. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for the dashboard overview. Does anybody have any questions so far about the dashboard?
I think everybody in here is good on that.
Okay.
And I guess you guys who are at home, unmute yourself if you do have a question, but then make sure you mute yourself back.
Thanks, Casey.
Of course.
Okay, so then we're going to move on to the top right hand corner right here, which these are considered your quick access views. Okay, so what I'm going to start with first would be the magnifying glass right over here. So essentially the magnifying glass is a global search tool. This gives you quick access to contacts. So as you can see in that box, you can type in a name, a phone number, email, property, or a note. Okay. And basically, once you start typing that information in, whatever that's associated with the lead, it should be able to pull up for you. So for example, I'm just going to type in my name, right? Because I know I have myself in here as a test lead. So then it's going to pull up all of the people that's in your database with the name Kimberly. If you wanted to be more specific and you know their last name, you can type in their last name too. But essentially, once you type whatever information that's in here, you want to access that lead, you just click right into it. It'll bring you right to that lead profile page. And again, this will be addressed on the second training session. So I'm just going to go back to here. And then next up here is the alerts, which is the bell icon right over here. Okay. So you have my mouse hovered over here. So that would be the alerts icon. So these are for notifications like new text messages or missed phone calls, new leads coming in will show here. Okay. And then if you move further down right over here, you're going to notice that there's this little option here. Again, you can access your task through here too. If you click into it, basically, I'll just show you what your tasks are. Okay. And then if you click on this little clipboard icon here, I'll bring you over to right over to the calendar tab here. As you can see that it's highlighted, and it's just going to show you today's task. Now, while we're in here, one thing that I should mention is that I can't remember if the agents will see, I don't think the agents will see the team task, but Casey, you'll be able to see your task as well as the team task since you're the admin of the account. But one thing that I wanted to bring up here is that it's the overdue task. This can creep up pretty fast. So what I would do is whenever you log into the CRM system, I want you guys to tackle this first thing in the morning and by end of day. And the main reason why I bring this up is because you're going to notice that there's some, if you start building out smart plans, you're going to notice that there's going to be tasks that you apply to your smart plans. And you'll know that in your task menu here, because this is the smart plan icon that you see here. And you can also filter your tasks here based on the origin. So right here, it's already manually defaulted to smart plan tasks. And the reason why I bring this up is because if you built a smart plan, which will be discussed in the third training session with our training team, any tasks that you build within that smart plan, and if you don't complete it within that day, that it's not your smart plan is not going to move over to the next step. Okay. So that's the main reason why I wanted to bring this up. Just make sure that that the overdue task doesn't creep up, because because it can creep up pretty fast. Okay. So again, that's another way to access the task in the system here. And then I'm just gonna close out of this and just go back to the main page so I don't confuse you guys. And then there's the new opportunities icon right here. So if you click on the computer screen icon right over here with the $sign, just remember that opportunities are leads that are taking action by going back to the site or saving listings or whatever that had explained in this opportunities box right over here. You can basically see a quick view of which leads are looking at listings or requested showings in this area here. And these are the leads you should engage with. So we want you to get into the habit of checking your opportunities every day. Okay. So that would be it. And then the other thing that I really wanted to highlight here, which is the fun part of the CRM system to help you guys learn the system and navigate around the system, would be this question mark icon right over here. So if you click into it, this is literally going to be your best friend, okay? When you start getting along with Lofty, or even if you're utilizing it. So what I'm going to do is just going to go through every single one of these to explain how these function, okay? So for the show me how, if you are a visual learner, this is basically a step-by-step guide that will walk you through any situation if you're stuck or you just want to learn. So if you click into it, you have these options here where you can learn how to figure out certain functions within the system. So let's just say, for example, let's just say you want to learn how to edit your personal profile, right? So you want to click into this. Then you're going to notice that there's this little blue bubble that's going to pop up. All you have to do is just follow the instructions within the blue bubble. So in this blue bubble, it's telling me to click the settings. So I'm going to click the settings. Then it's telling me that I need to edit the personal details that are highlighted in this red box right over here. Once you've completed that, you want to click next. And then it's telling you to click save. And then so on and so forth. So then going back to the question mark icon, as you can see, there's only so much that Lofty can provide here for Show Me How, because the system is so robust. There's a lot of features that we offer, and not a lot of features we can provide that Show Me How functionality. So that's why we have next up on the list here, which is the Help Center, which my team and I personally love a lot. We put a lot of time and effort into here because this is Lofty's knowledge base. So once you click into the Lofty Help Center, you're going to be welcome to this page right over here. Now, if you scroll further down, you're going to be welcome to a bunch of articles that are broken down into certain sections of the CRM system. Now, I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed, because it is overwhelming. It's a lot of content to go through. So instead of manually going through this content, I would just utilize the search engine box right over here and just type in a keyword. Like, so earlier we were talking about profile setup, right? So let's just say I'm going to put in the word profile setup or whatnot. So it's going to pull up a bunch of articles that are that's in relation to the keyword that I put in. So what you're going to do is you're just going to choose the article that's closest to what you're looking for. Okay, so the one that we were looking at would be completing your Lofty profile. So you'll click into it. So the nice thing about this is that once you click into these articles, you're going to be given an introduction, a summary of what's going to be discussed in this article. And then you're going to be welcome to screenshots with step-by-step instructions of how to complete that specific feature within the system or setting. Now, you know how I mentioned earlier in our in our training session that your first point of contact should be Lofty support. If you're ever stuck in finding Lofty support's information, all you have to do is just log into, or just go into the Lofty help center, and then randomly just go into any article. And if you scroll all the way down over here, you'll have Lofty's support information. So you got their email address, you got their phone number. There's no way you can miss it. Okay. And they're also in our email signatures too. So I know, I actually, Casey, I might be wrong. I have to double check because we just rebranded a few things. So things things are a little different. So anyways, you can't miss out on supports information. It's always on the bottom here. Okay. So anyways, if you are also like, if you're into school and you love to read and just study on your own, this is a really great place to go into. And what I would actually recommend, especially when you're first starting out with Lofty, just keep in mind that it's not going to take you a week. It's not going to take you a month to learn the system. It's going to take you a while. I mean, I've been with Lofty for over a year now, and I'm still learning the system just because there's constant updates to the system. But before consulting, before reaching out to, Lofty support or myself or Casey, I want you to consult with the help center first, because chances are is that you're going to find your answers to your questions in the knowledge base here, or a solution to your concerns. Now, I don't want you guys to be frustrated either, right? So if you guys absolutely cannot find out what you're looking for and you're stuck on it, you're more than welcome to reach out to support anytime. So this is what the help center is. So going back to the main dashboard here, clicking in the question mark icon, then I'm moving down to the learning center here. So if you are a visual learner, Lofty try to recommend a lot of, different types of resources to help you, learn the Lofty system, because everybody learns things differently. I know that Casey had brought this up, which is the Lofty agent onboarding. It's a really great tool to go in here and access to learn about certain features of the system. I do know that because we have rebranded from Chime over to Lofty, so you're going to notice that within the videos, there's going to be like older content, and because it's going to take a long time for us to refix everything and rebrand everything, but you're going to notice that there's certain things that are using a different user interface. If that's the case, just ignore it. But the functionalities should still work the same. But if you ever need clarification on certain features or whatnot, and you see it differently versus what you see on your account, just reach out, ask a question. We can always, book another time like this where we can do a Q&A. Okay, so I don't want you guys to get frustrated, but I also want you guys to know that these tools are here for you to help you learn how to utilize the system. And they're very useful. And our team does take a lot of time and effort into providing these types of tools for you. And again, like you see here, they're free. There's about 35 lessons altogether within the Learning Center, not all on this page here. But the content of the videos are very short. They can range from 2 minutes to 9 minutes long at most. I think I haven't even watched all of it, but they're not super long. But sometimes it's nice to just go into a video and see how to do it instead of reaching out and asking somebody for a question, and then you see like a bunch of screenshots. So however way you want to learn, there's a learning center here, and then there's that Lofty Help Center. Okay. And then moving down over to Lofty updates. Like I had mentioned, our system is so robust. We're always constantly going through a lot of updates and changes. If you ever want to keep up to date with any of those changes, just click into the Lofty updates right over here. Sorry, I feel like I might be going a little fast. And then it's going to bring you into this page right over here. Again, it's a Lofty Help Center. And then you'll click on the latest one. And I'll tell you what the, again, an introduction and a summary, and I'll tell you what the changes will be, and they'll tell you the release date. So we just have had a recent one on the 16th. So if you want to get into here and just read a little bit more about this, you can. But usually I'd suggest taking your time, especially if you're learning the system firsthand. And then going back to the question mark icon here again, once you start getting comfortable with the system, right? And you feel like there's some features that Lofty doesn't support, you can always suggest a feature through here. So if you click into it, it's going to bring you into this separate page right over here. So I know it's really tiny. Once you're on this page, you have to just move your mouse all the way down here on the left-hand side of the screen. And it said there's like a little blue circle with a plus sign. You want to click here to submit your idea. So if you notice that there's something that Lofty doesn't support on the platform that you feel like your team would benefit from, this is where you can submit your idea, rate how important this is to you, and provide your email address. The reason why we bring this up, Casey, is because our product management team would rather hear it from our clients than us, just because it's more valuable in that sense. But however, I'm more than welcome to receive, open feedback from you. But if you feel like, there's, an idea that, that would be very helpful, this is where you're going to submit it. Okay. And then you're going to notice that we're very collaborative with our clients. You'll see on this tab here, you'll see what's under consideration, what's being planned, and what's being released in the near future. Okay, so that's what is here for suggesting features. And then going back to the dashboard again and clicking into the question mark icon. This is the Facebook user community. I know that Casey has joined this, but you guys are more than welcome to join it too. It's a really great community to join. I'm in it here as well, as along with my colleagues. Essentially, it's a place where Lofty users can join to learn about the system, also offer any tips and tricks within here. But keep in mind that it's not meant for you to go in here and talk about, support issues or anything. It's simply just a free place for you to go in and offer any advice, to help people out, or learn about any tips and tricks. Or let's just say you're in the system, be like, hey, by the way, is there something in the people tab that, that can help me filter certain things that I feel like I'm missing? There's a lot of people who utilize there's a lot of super users that utilize the system that might even be more super than myself and some colleagues of mine, right? So anyways, it's a great place to join. And then Casey, this is new here, which is my tickets. If you click into here, any communication that you've spoken to support with, or any emails that you sent over to support with concerns or questions, they're all going to be in here, and I'll let you know what the statuses are. Because this is a demo account, I don't really have anything listed here, but once you log into yours, you're going to see some things logged in there. Okay. And then going back to the question mark icon again, here you can submit a ticket if you notice that there's something that's not working right within the system, or if you have a question. But one thing that I really wanted to talk about that's really cool in here is chatting with support. So let's just say you're in the CRM system and you're stuck with something. You can't seem to figure out, the feature of the setting that you're working on. You can click into here and chat with support. Keep in mind that obviously it's telling you about Lofty Assistant. You're not going to be talking to an AI person. You're actually going to be talking to a live Lofty support representative. And they are going to be available during these times here that are indicated right over here. Okay. So again, you don't have to worry about being that middleman, having to explain to Casey what had happened, because everything will be logged through the system here, even if you're chatting with support. So again, you're going to get a live Lofty representative. You're not going to be talking to AI. And typically, I'll be honest with you, I don't work on the weekends, but I do know that, we do have support people working on the weekends, but especially from our US based team, they're only available like 5 days a week. But I know that support is available 7 days a week. So if you get somebody in on chatting with support on the weekend, great. If not, but you'll get them in during the weekday for sure. But you're going to get a live representative. And if you haven't downloaded the mobile app yet, these are just quick QR access codes to download the mobile app. Okay. But otherwise, these are all great ways to contact with support, whether if it being chatting with support through here or calling them. Emailing them is easier for me to track, to be honest. Let's just say if Casey ever needs to escalate an issue, she can just forward that email to me. She doesn't have to be that middle person and be having to explain everything. Just make sure that when you're emailing support and CCing Casey in on it, or even Chris, just make sure you provide as much screenshots as possible, because we want to see what you're looking at. Because chances are is that support's going to come back and be like, hey, by the way, can you send us a screenshot? It's just a quicker way of expediting your issues instead of coming back and forth. Okay. But otherwise, That's pretty much it for the dashboard. Does anybody have any questions at all?
Okay, I got a question here, Amelia.
I was just wondering, I see that there's one in the opportunity section. I wonder what that looks like when you click on it.
So if you click on it, it's just going to bring you right back into your people page. And it's going to show you the opportunities, the hot leads that are considered as opportunities in this section here. And then once you're in here, you can click right into that lead profile, the lead, and bring you right into the lead profile page right here. So that way you can see more of a bigger scope and overview of what's happening with your client.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Anybody else? Right now? Anybody that's on remote got a question? No. Kimberly, I think you did a good job of covering the dashboard. Nobody has any questions right now.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to move over into our settings
Actually,
now.
I do, sorry, I have a quick
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
If someone hasn't finished all of their onboarding steps, so for example, where I'm working on Chris's account, he doesn't have a business Facebook page. So I'm like skipping that stuff and doing things. How do I get to his dashboard if it still wants to show me his onboarding screen? Is that even possible? Or will it not show up until I've completed everything in the onboarding?
Does Chris have his own login, or are you just going through the main login?
I'm going in through his login.
So he has his own seat then.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can give me 1 second here. Okay, I gotta log out of here.
Oh, you're in the guided setup. Okay.
Oh, is that where I am?
That's what it says, guided setup.
We have to do this.
That's what she's checking to tell me if you have to before you can see the dashboard. She's going to his to see what it looks like.
Okay, so this is what you'll see on yours, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the office admin account, yeah. But Chris has a Chris Spencer account that's different.
Okay. Let me. Are you okay for me to share the screen with Chris?
Oh yeah, that's
Login?
fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I have so much things open. I just want to make sure that.
Oh, that's fine.
Uh, I know that because the tool that you just mentioned, this is fairly new to Lofty, so it's not operating as smooth as it should be. So I just want to see it from your point of view, because I do know that some clients, there's some things that are in the checklist that doesn't pertain to them, like you had mentioned, right? And you might
Yep.
not be able to move on to the next one. So let's just take a look anyways. Okay, yeah, so you guys only see my dashboard. So Casey will see my dashboard and team dashboard, so she can toggle it, okay?
So how did you get to just my dashboard for Chris? Because when I'm in there, I can see the onboarding dashboard, but I don't see this. How did you get to this screen without finishing the onboarding?
Oh, let's see here. Because you've just logged into his, right?
Yeah, I logged into his and it pops up with the onboarding dashboard.
Right, okay, here, I do not like, you guys don't see this, but there's like this thing here for Teams. I can't go past that, so let me log out of here and click on here. You're talking about this, right?
Yep, so this is where I am for him.
Okay, all you have to do is just click on Explore CRM and it'll bring you to the main dashboard.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you're saying for
Somebody
these
else just
things,
told me they
right?
had the same problem. So I need to finish going through it. Like I did some manual lead import for him, but he doesn't have business social media. So we're not connecting that. I mean, I'll go back and finish all the onboarding. I just wanted to be able to see his dashboard and wasn't sure exactly how to get there.
Okay, all you have to do is just click on this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. But if you're having troubles moving on to the next step, don't worry, it's not going to affect your onboarding at all.
Okay.
But if it's absolutely going to, like, it's frustrating, you can't get past it, let me know. Okay. I might have
Okay.
to, I'm going to have to reach out to support for that. But
Okay.
otherwise, that's all you have to do. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just going to close out of
Oh,
here.
somebody else has a question.
My question
Yeah.
is, I thought I finished the onboarding because I don't have certain
Mhm.
things. So it always brings me to that screen.
So for someone who she's finished everything she's going to finish. So if she's not going to do any of the rest of it, how can she tell it, I'm done? Please stop telling me to onboard.
Oh, like that screen right over there?
Yep, like that's what always pops up for her, but she doesn't have any of the other things that it's asking her to do.
That's a good question. I'll have to take that away.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what she's saying, but I'll take that away. I'm not too sure.
Okay, thanks. So
Let me
she'll
just
ask
put-
for it and-
Let me just pop that in the chat so I don't forget, okay? So
Okay.
just putting it in there as notes. Is there a way to get rid of the onboarding pop-up on the screen when they're done? Okay. So any questions?
Anything else on that section? Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move on to the settings now, which is the now you can access your settings in two ways. Okay, it's very simple. You can either click on this tab, bring you right to the settings. If you're on the main page again, all you have to do is click on your photo, your little avatar up here on the right hand side next to the help screen icon. You click onto your name, and again, I'll bring you into your settings. Okay, so just file here on the left hand side. So we've already manually clicked into there. Now, setting up your Lofty profile is a key step in making sure your account is ready to go before interacting with clients through the CRM. The fields that can be edited in this section will be displayed in the emails from the Lofty CRM, including property alerts and welcome emails. So it is very important to have your profile set up from the very beginning. Now, you want to make sure that your MLS agent ID is here and set up in this section. This part is very important because this ID is used to pull in your listings, okay? And let me show you why. So this will be discussed in a separate training session, but I just want to show you why it's important to add in your MLS agent ID here. It's because you'll notice that on your dashboard, the listings tab right over here, once you click into it, you're going to notice on the left-hand side, sorry, once things populate, there's things broken down. There's on the left-hand side, it's broken down here with my listings, team listings, and all listings. If you ever log into this tab and you see that there's 0 listings, like 0 of your my listings, it's because when you in your profile, you haven't added your MLS agent ID. So it's a very imperative that you add that in first thing when you start setting up your profile, okay? So I'm just going to close this. And first things first, when you first start using Lofty, this is the first thing that you want to do is set up your user profile, okay? Okay, so make sure that it is very important to have your profile set up from the very beginning, okay? And then also your headshot and your email signature below are in this section if you want to customize those. You can click on edit here, and this is where you can edit your email signature. You can get pretty dynamic with your signature. You can even add in BombBomb videos or YouTube videos. So essentially you can utilize these options here to help you craft your email signature, okay? But one thing that I really wanted to make sure to let you guys know is that your profile signature is used as the email signature for all auto emails within the system. So like automated emails. And your integrated email signature is used for all other emails unless you check the box to apply this signature down here to all outgoing emails at the bottom. So one thing that I really wanted to point out is that throughout the CRM system, before checking things off here, and you see that there's a little question mark icon down here, you always want to hover over it before you check it off, okay? So I'm just gonna read this box by verbatim here. It says that if this box is checked, this email signature will apply to mass emails, manual one-off emails, welcome emails, property alert and market snapshot emails, market report emails, other notification emails, opt-in emails, and anywhere the signature variable is utilized in email templates or smart plans. Okay, if this is checked off. If this box is not checked, this email signature will only apply to mass emails, manual one-off emails, and anywhere the signature variable is utilized in email templates or smart plans. So just make sure, depending on your preference, to always read these little question mark icons before you check anything off. Okay. So, and then that's it for the profile. Excuse me, the profile setup. So make sure you guys set this up first. And then for preferences, right here for the time zone, you want to check the time zone and working hours. I would recommend setting your working hours from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. nonstop for lead routing. Because if you only set it to an 8-hour day, Casey, this is based on your lead routing rules. So it might round robin to the next person. It might be auto sent to a lead pond for someone else to grab. I know that you guys don't have a lead pond, so ignore what I said. But working hours are for an agent who would like to get leads, and this is not necessarily your physical working hours at all. So essentially, you want to put this on a 24-hour time clock based on the lead routing rules, so you don't miss out on leads coming to you. Okay. And this is not based on your working hours. So Casey, just make sure everybody's set on, like an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay.
So quick question about, and this isn't super relevant to everyone except that they would want to know about it. When we had said we were not going to use a lead pond, but we actually have found we've got a whole bunch of like old leads, things that they might not be great. We don't know what they are. And we've thought about putting them into a lead pond to make it so that, anybody is the idea of a lead pond. If they're in there, anyone can go in and basically take that lead and use it. Is that what a lead pond is?
Yes, but it's also based on, how you set the permissions for that too. And essentially, Casey, you can use that lead pond for anything. It doesn't have to be anything specific. You can
Okay.
use it for any purposes. Sometimes people use it as like, I know some brokerages use it as like kind of like an extra gimme, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, there are some rules that you can set within that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so then make sure you have everybody set up from an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, time zone. Now, if you won't be available to take leads while out of office, just remember to switch this back when you return. So if you switch it to vacation mode, you're not going to receive any leads within, when this is turned on. But when you turn it back to work mode, then it'll start working again. And then going down over here, just the sending email address. Now, you may or may not be aware that every email address has something almost like a credit score associated with it, and that determines your email reputation, because email reputation is very important here at Lofty, and there's a lot of articles based on it, Casey, that you can read into. When you use a Lofty system, you're going to be sending probably hundreds of property alerts and other automated emails. The following examples of some emails that will be sent from the Lofty platform would be like welcome emails, property alerts, market snapshots, market reports, smart plan emails, mass emails, meaning this means that when sending more than one person via Lofty. So these are just basically all the automated emails that are sent from the Lofty platform that I just listed. So in order to protect your email reputation from being flagged as a spammer, Lofty provides you with a unique sending email address. Now, which is this guy right over here. Now, you don't have to worry when a lead replies to this unique email address, as long as you have your regular email address integrated with Lofty, in which I'll show you guys in a second. Your regular integrated email address will populate automatically into the reply to field. Okay.
So is
And
it
then
best practice for agents to, before they start sending out things in mass to their clients, should they reach out to their clients from their regular email address that they've always used and say, hey, add this to your safe senders, this is me? How do you recommend people do that if everything they send from Lofty to the consumer is going to look like it's coming from, like in our case, office_admin@mail.lofty.me? Should they let their people know that ahead of time?
that's a very good question. Now, this topic is very convoluted because it's very open-ended. So what I'll do is I'll send you a Lofty articles to
Okay.
give you more of a detailed explanation. But one thing that I should show you guys is that whenever you guys are sending things in a mass, like especially smart plans, right? Because you can be sending like hundreds or thousands at a time, right? We always recommend scrubbing your database beforehand. Now, just not to overcomplicate things or overwhelm things, just based on what Casey is asking. What you could do is you click into here. Now, mind you, I'm still learning with this interface here too. Click into the People's tab right over here.
Mhm.
Just gonna click on filters. No. I'm trying to figure out. Trying to figure out where we can filter out the bounced emails in this new interface. Oh, sorry. Okay, I found it. It's underneath all filters that I just showed you guys, but mind you, in their second training session, we're going to go through more of this. But when you click into here, just to quickly show you, Casey, is that once you start adding leads into the database, and you start communicating with them, things can get flagged and things could get spammed, right? You can filter your database right here by bounced emails while you click yes here. And it's going to pull up a bunch of, or it might be a little bit for you guys because you guys are brand new, right? But right now it's showing me that there's 895 bounce leads in our demo database. And essentially a bounce lead, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad email, right? It could be because their email box is full and it's undeliverable, right? And that's not necessarily a bad email. But when you log right into the system here, like you log right into the lead profile page, you're going to notice that underneath the email portion here has an X. It just states that the status here will be marked as a bounce when there is a bounce response when sending emails to this address. So if you know that this is not a bad email, you can always click it and mark it back as valid email. So essentially, if you guys are sending emails, bounced emails to clients, it's gonna affect your email reputation because you guys are using um our database to send out emails, right? So basically Lofty will monitor this. And let's just say if it reaches a certain threshold, I think it's 10%, it's going to lock your guys' account for a little bit before you can send out emails. So again, because this topic is so convoluted, Casey, I'm going to send you these Lofty help center articles to better explain it. But essentially, you can filter out the bounced emails within your system. And what I would recommend your agents do is do that and then check this on a daily so that you don't get to this point where like there's 895 leads, right? But essentially, they can manually go in, call these clients and be like, hey, by the way, this isn't a sales call or whatever pitch that you want to pitch, right? And be like, can I just confirm that this is the right email address? If it's not, then they can go in here and delete it from the database so that it won't affect, you know, your email reputation. Okay.
So would a good option be while they're doing that, if they want to be able to send things out, if they search by bounced, either add a tag that says bounced emails. So if they're sending out something in mass, they can say, send this to everyone who is not tagged as bounced. Would that be
Yeah.
a reasonable good practice for that? So until
Yeah.
they get it cleaned up, say
Yeah.
send to everybody except the bounced ones.
Yeah. So basically, when you're in the lead profile page, and I'll talk about this on the next training session, this is where you can add that tag.
Okay.
And you can create it at the same time. Okay. So
Got it.
I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but this is just a quick overview to answer Casey's question. But yes,
Okay.
it's very important. Casey, that's a very good question to ask. Okay. So anyways, any questions so far? You're good to go, Casey? Anybody has any questions? Okay, so this is more so.
Sorry, I got one.
That's okay.
Because you were out of the room, she said to add our MLS to our profile. My listings are still not attached. So I have done
That's-
that, and that's the thing.
Okay, so we had this question come up yesterday where I'd walked out of the room for just a second. Cynthia said that you told them to add the MLS to the profile.
Their MLS.
Add your MLS number, like what? Okay.
Like this one right
so-
here.
Yes, that.
Okay.
Their yeah.
And if they've added their MLS agent ID, plus obviously we've signed on as the office, so the office admin has us connected to the MLS. So Cynthia's listings were not populating on her website. And actually Elizabeth Franklin just came in and said same thing for her. She tried to search for a listing and it says there are no listings in this area. And she is connected, that listing is active in the MLS. What maybe are we missing something? Have we not turned something on? What are we doing wrong there?
We have to double check the website settings, but I mean, all of your agents should have agent subdomains, right? They're not agent websites or anything like that.
Well, it depends. I mean, we have
Or
both.
sorry, for the agents that you're talking about, or do they have agent subdomains?
Both agents that I'm talking about started with an agent subdomain, but they're in the process of, Cynthia in particular is in, hers still says pending.
Yes.
For her new one, Elizabeth's is already active. So these are
Okay.
both people who are doing the independent
Okay.
agent website.
Okay, so it all depends on the settings. What I would recommend those your agents to do is send an email to Lofty Support, CC yourself in it, ask that question, provide the screenshot, so that way they can escalate it quickly.
Okay.
And then if they don't get back to you within 2 days, because we do get pretty backlog, it's not for the lack of customer service, then Casey, what you want to do is forward that email to me and I can escalate it for them.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want, Casey, instead of them doing it separately themselves, if you want it to just all be in one email, you can do it for them and just, include them in the ticket, right? Just to kind of streamline things faster. But it's just more manual work for you, so I'm sorry. Okay. Good questions. Okay, so then we're still underneath the, I think the preferences tab right here. So this is more for Casey, okay? So these are for new lead notifications, and this will also be sent to any additional email addresses listed here. So anybody that you want to have access to new lead notifications, you can just put their email address here.
Would that be, but if they get a new lead, it already goes to them.
Yeah,
This would be,
yeah.
if it comes into the admin, do I want it to go to anybody other than admin? Is that
Yeah.
what you're asking?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they don't have access to this CRM system, then yes.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So then so then now we're gonna move over to notifications here, right? So then you got the general tab right over here. So you can manage these settings however you would prefer to receive notifications. These are defaulted to receive email, text, and push notifications. Keep in mind that where my mouse is hovering right over here, push notifications are only going to be sent to your phone if you have downloaded the Lofty mobile app and enabled the app notifications on your phone as well. So this one is only pertained to your mobile app settings, okay? Then you move over to opportunities. Earlier we were talking about on the dashboard here, just to go back, this box right over here, and we're talking about like back to site and all that jazz. Even I don't even remember it. But anyways, this is where it's going to give you a full detailed picture of how what's being pulled in through high interest, through sell, right? Through back on market and back to site. And basically you'll definitely want to keep these notifications specific to opportunities on, but because you want to remember that these are hot leads that the Lofty system has given a lead score of greater than 70 based on the behaviors like saving listings and going back to your site. So you want to make sure that you follow up with the leads under the opportunities immediately. Okay. So that's it for this portion here. I'm just going to move over to property alerts.
Kimberly,
Okay.
quick question on that.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at mine and I set that up, is that those notifications? So for anyone who sets up team leads, if I say email, then as the admin, I'm going to get an email if anyone in the office who has a team lead has someone who visits 3 times. Is that correct? It's not just going to be office admin leads. It's going to be everyone's leads.
For you, yes, because
Okay.
These settings are only pertain to whoever, whoever logs into their own.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
One other question.
Okay. Oh,
I
yeah.
got one other
Should
question.
we remove the check mark for two-factor authentication?
It's up to you. So Cheryl's asking if we should remove the check for two-factor authentication. I removed it on this account because I log in and Chris logs in and perhaps Amy and Alex log in. It's up to you individually if you want to have two-factor authentication set up, right?
Yes,
Kimberly,
and I'm
that's-
sorry, I bypassed this. This is something that's very new to Lofty that they just introduced. This is totally up to you to set up if you want that extra security. And now just keep in mind that for the two-factor authentication, it's asking for two methods, an email address that's provided here and a phone number that you have provided. So let's just say if you want a code to be sent to you, they're not going to send you a text message and an email. It's going to be one or the other. So it doesn't mean that the system is broken. You just have to you just have to keep in mind that they'll either send it to your text. If they didn't send it to your text, then most likely they would have sent it to your email. If you still didn't receive it from your email, then this is the problem is that it might have went into your junk folder or your spam folder. So you need to check that, okay? And if you troubleshooted that and it didn't send to your text and it didn't send to your email versus, your spam or your junk, then that's a support email, okay?
Yeah, and I can also, if you ever can't get in because you've forgotten your password, I can change your password for you and send it to you for you to be able to get in.
Yeah, and you can also
That's a different
reset it on
issue.
the homepage too.
Okay.
There's an option to give you an option to reset it. Okay, so sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to bypass that, but it's totally up to you, and Casey's right on that part. Okay, so we're gonna go over through the property alerts right over here. Okay, so we're almost done here. Might have to go a little bit over time, okay, Casey, if that's okay with you? Okay. So excuse me. So there are three different types of automatic alerts, okay? And the first one that we're going to go through right over here is a property alert. As you can see, there are market snapshot alerts and market reports, but I'm going to focus mainly on property alerts because that's what you guys are going to be utilizing for the most part. So essentially, property alerts engage buyer leads. So these are for buyer leads, okay, automatically by emailing them new listings that fit the criteria that has been searched. It's all based on the leads selected search criteria when they come to your website. So these settings affect only the auto property alerts generated by the search criteria in the lead profile, okay? Now you can all personalize the verbiage you want to send these kind of alerts if you choose to, but right now it's set to a general default verbiage that you can edit in your email template settings, in which I'll show you guys in a bit. But otherwise, we'll just leave that at that, okay? Then if you go down over here, Casey, you figured this out because you remember you disabled this and nobody had access to it, so we're good to go. Excluding the source, you can exclude whatever sources that you don't want to send over to your property alerts to.
Quick interruption.
Yeah.
I enabled it for everyone, but they can on their own individual basis disable it. So if they don't want those property alerts to go out for whatever reason, they can click that checkbox and take it off for their own CRM. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, we got one more question.
So
Yeah.
Is this, okay, so I do my emails through the MLS.
What do you
For
mean?
buyers, sending them potential properties.
But so the purpose with what we're doing here is now they're going to be coming, instead of coming from Canopy, they're going to be coming from you in here. You won't need to send them through that anymore. You'll be able to send them here, which pushes them back to your site, which lets you know what they're searching for. If you continue to send them through Canopy, you can, but you're just not utilizing something that you're paying for with this, where this will be paying attention to their search habits. It's going to be changing their scores. Yeah, this is giving you way more insight into what your
Okay.
clients are doing.
And they can save those properties and everything like that.
Yes, they can save properties within searching through your Canopy.
Okay, thank you.
Kimberly, did I answer that correctly?
Yeah, yes, you did. Okay. So also keep in mind too is that you're open to set these settings that are based on your preferences too. So whatever that Casey sets up here, it's not going to affect everybody here on the team. Okay. So if you want to exclude any sources where you don't want to send out certain property alerts to any specific sources, you can go through here. You can exclude pipelines too. Like for example, you don't want to send property alerts to people that are do not contact, close, or under contract. So these are highly recommended where you need to check these off. Property status, we always just leave this active. Days listed, these are just essentially how if you want to send property alerts based on how long the listing has been listed for. So again, this is up to your preference. We always keep location criteria at any. Open house, we always usually just suggest no. And then this is where you want to really focus on is the frequency, okay? So the frequency you choose is completely personal, but if you select daily on the drop-down menu, which is what you see here, the alerts will go out according to the schedule that you select below here. So one key factor to think about frequency is your email accountability again. So we're all familiar with the feeling of getting too many emails, like from Bed Bath & Beyond. I get a whole heck a lot of emails from Old Navy and Gap just because I shop there often because of my kids, but then I feel like they overload it with these emails. And basically until one day you've had enough and you unsubscribe from all of the correspondence. But when it comes to these auto property alerts, we recommend at least Friday and Saturday mornings, since that's when we statistically seen the best open rates. But again, this is based on your preference. But you don't want to overdo it to the point where like your clients are going to unsubscribe from you, okay? But, which I'll talk in a bit, if you have a client.
So hang on one second, Kimberly. I got someone asking me a question.
So if you click daily, why wouldn't you have all the boxes clicked under schedule?
So if you click daily, I mean, you can choose which days you want. as far as
That are
daily.
down here
So
and the times.
There's not really another option. I mean, daily,
So if it goes daily, it's gonna go daily. You don't have to worry about checking the box.
no, you do need to check the
But just check
boxes
them all.
because it's saying daily, it could be every day, or it could only be certain days. Where it says frequency up above, your other options would be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And so since that won't work, you just have to pick daily and then say which
If I
days.
pick daily, I just assumed it would.
It doesn't-
automatically have checked all.
I get what you're saying. It's just not set up that way.
Just check all the boxes.
Yeah. Yes. And then do you want them to go in the morning or do you want to go in the evening? Or do you actually want it to go twice a day, which checking both AM and PM?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that you guys don't overdo it, okay? Because you don't want to get to the point where like your client's going to unsubscribe from you and then, or they're going to put you back into spam, right? And again, that's going to be a bounced email.
So Kimberly, if this is us setting up the auto property alerts, but if a client sets up their own where they go in and say, I want to receive property alerts, and that is the thing that happens, correct?
Yes, that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So
Can they tell it if they want it instantly? So if I've got a buyer and they are looking for like a super hot property, they're going to want it instantly. Can they choose that even though my auto property alerts are only going out daily?
now these auto property alerts is going to go out based on the frequency that you set here. But if they want it to be customized, you need to have that conversation with your client. And then this is the manual process, which I'll show you here right away, where your agents have to go in and physically manually do it for them. The system's not going to be smart enough to be like, hey, client A, you want these property alerts to be sent out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's not going to give them that option. Your agents have to have that conversation with them, and then they have to go back into the property alert to make that edit, okay?
But it can be done on a client by client basis.
Yeah.
This is set for overriding, but if you
Yes.
need to do it for a specific client, you
Yeah.
can change it.
This
Okay.
is all at a mass, okay?
Got it.
So then I'll explain that right away. So Casey, you've explained this part perfectly for that last question that you had. And then now underneath here, you have the option to whether this is based on your website options, right? Or whenever the lead comes into the system. So if your lead registers it through your website, you can immediately send a property alerts right away, or you can wait 24 hours after they've registered with you through the system. Okay, so that's up to you guys. So that's what this option is for here. Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys where you guys can customize that property alert based on the conversation that you've had with your client. So I'm just going to go back here, okay, and on the main dashboard and click into the people tab. So I'm going to click into people. And I'm just gonna use my mock lead as an example. It's either you can click into the people tab and go search for them through here, but because I have a lot going on in my test lead, I'm just gonna find my own right here and just go into here myself, okay? So same thing. You want to get into their lead profile page, which is what you guys are in right now. And you want to click into the engagement tab. You're going to see the second third of this page right over here. So you want to click into this engagement tab, and these are where all your automatic property alerts are, or your property alerts are being set up. So the one that we're looking at are property alerts. Now, we don't really recommend a lot of property alerts being set up for your client, but you definitely can set up multiple property alerts, right? And that could be because they're looking for properties in certain areas, not in the same area. So that's a reason why you would want to set up multiple property alerts. But one thing that I wanted to quickly show you guys, give me a second. Just wanted to show you guys an example here. I'm having a little bit of a brain fart here. Okay, I'm going to go back into the people. I'm going to try and find an example that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, here. You see this, guys? You're going to see a lot of this. Because you have went into the settings here and you've given Lofty permission to set out enable this option to send out automatic property alerts. This is what it looks like. So whenever you go into the lead profile page, underneath the engagement, underneath property alerts, you see based on search criteria. It just means that it just means that you've given Lofty permission to send out an automatic property alert. So let's just say you've had this conversation with your client Lofty Guide here, and Lofty Guide wants you to send out a property alert every day instead of what you have chosen in this section right over here. So instead of adding another property alert, what you're going to do is you're going to go in here and edit the current automatic property alert that the system set up. So that way they're not randomly sending them MLS listings, right, from the system. Because the reason why I bring this up is because let's just say you get into this brand new contact right here and there's no search criteria listed in this section here, because this is based on the types of listings that you send out to your clients. So let's just say they're a brand new client, they just registered into the system, but there's no search criteria within here, but you've enabled the system to send out automatic property alerts. The MLS is basically just going to send them any random listing from the MLS. So to avoid that, and you've had that conversation with Lofty Guide, all you have to do is just add in search criteria here for them and go back into here and make that edit. So you're going to click the pen and pad, okay? And you're going to edit it based on, the area that they're in, if you feel like you need to, and then add in, certain search criteria based over here, right? So once you've done all of that, you want to click next, okay? And this is where you get into these settings, all right? So, okay. So then the alert name, this is not customer facing, okay? This is for you. So for example, if this is a specific area that you wanted to focus on a property alert, you can put the area, or like John's Cool Listings or whatever it may be. Then you have these options to choose here. Now, again, if you hover over here for handpick listings, this is just saying that if you're to check this off, you'll be notified by email when new listings that fit the criteria enter the market. Listings will not be sent to the lead without your approval. You can also send a copy to yourself. This might be a good idea, right? That way you can see what listings are being sent to your client. You can either have an option to send this immediately, or you can, again, click on here and it'll tell you what this means. So if you check this box off for use listings on the market as a supplement, it means that if no new listings that fit the criteria come to the market, listings on the market will be sent instead. And then so on and so forth. And then it's going to include the emails that are within the lead profile. If your lead has any family members that are attached to the lead profile, it's going to include them in here too. And then there's a subject line right over here. This is where you want to be catchy, where you want your clients to open up the email. So you got to be strategic here too. So this is customer facing, okay? So you can say, hey, these are some cool new listings from like Lake Summerside, which is the area or the neighborhood that they're looking in, okay? And then this is where you can manually set up your frequency, right? So you want to keep it on daily, right? And then if Lofty Guide says, no, I don't want it to be sent on Fridays and Saturdays. I want it to be sent every day in the mornings, or maybe every day in the mornings except for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so based on your conversation with them, this is where you can customize it. Okay, and once you're done, you click save. So I wanted to keep this very simple because property alerts can be very, quite like confusing at first when you first see it, and it could be. We do have a separate training session through that agent portal, which will look at the agent scheduled link that I sent you, Casey, where there's more on this topic because I don't have that bandwidth to explain it in its entirety in this training session. But this is just a good glimpse of it. Okay. But anyways, does anybody have any questions about customizing it based on your client that you've spoken to? This is where you can customize it.
For example, if I had a lead that came through something, what the criteria that is already there, is that because they chose that criteria, or was it just because they clicked on a listing that I shared?
So Cynthia's asking, she had someone who they came in through a listing.
by a listing.
She shared a listing on Facebook. They came into the system that way. The property alert was set up. Her question is, how can she tell if they chose that search criteria or if it just automatically,
Because it was a zip code, like you're saying.
right?
You'll-
Did it just automatically send it to that, to her based on guessing that's where she's interested in because she clicked on that lead?
No, so essentially you'll know, okay? So if you go back to here, to the main page right over here, if you know that you haven't physically edited the search criteria in this section, then this would have populated based on the listings that your client was looking at. If you wanted to be more specific and edit the search criteria, this is where you're going to go in here and utilize these search criteria options to add for your client based on your conversations that you've had with them.
So there's no way of knowing if he actually said, this is my search criteria, or if it made it that criteria just based on things he clicked on. Are we understanding that right?
Yeah, I totally understand the question. I have to confirm on that because I'm not too sure, but the quick way of knowing is if you actually go into the lead profile, if you know that you haven't added any search criteria to the client, but there's search criteria provided in there, then it's something that would have catered to the client when they're clicking on certain listings.
Okay, we just don't know if it's AI assuming those are the things based on what they looked at, or if they actually selected those.
I'll take that away though.
Okay, one more
I
question.
guess that's the question. Does the client, whomever they click, do they have a way of actually, saying, I want these areas, I want these 3 zip codes? I guess that's the
If they're
question.
searching, yes,
Yes.
they can search
Okay,
and filter.
because in here, what she said is on the lead thing that we just went through to see how soon, it says specifically the zip code that they looked in.
Yes.
So that's why it's already narrowed down.
Yes.
So I guess that's the answer to that. Okay.
So they narrowed by looking at a zip
Yes.
code.
Are we gonna go over the market snapshots just like she did on the engagement part for the
Let me ask.
search criteria? I guess that's the question.
Kimberly, are we doing market snapshots today, or is that a different thing since we're over time?
It's honestly, it's very similar set. I just go through a simple explanation, but it's the same setup as a property alert because it's for your sellers only. It's the exact same setup. So essentially, just to kind of give you guys a quick explanation, your market snapshots are basically almost identical to property alerts, but it's just for your sellers. So this will send your nearby newly and sold properties to leads to inform the client about what is going on in their market, encourage them to buy and or sell based on local activity. So if you go into your market snapshot setup, you're going to notice that it's the same thing. See?
Sorry, one real quick
Because
thing.
this is a buyer. This buyer chose a market. thing,
Snapshot.
a snapshot. I guess that's my question. Do they have that choice to choose it on their end?
Okay, so she's saying that it's showing that they are a buyer, but that they received a market snapshot. Could they have asked for that? Is that why they would have received the market snapshot as
No.
opposed to the market report?
The system would be smart where like if you go into the settings here, right?
Uh-huh.
I didn't get to this section here. If you have enabled this and your client is considered a buyer, then it would have automatically sent based on your settings that you would have enabled here.
It is automatically set.
Okay, got it.
We gotta take it out.
Got it?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, no worries. So, so Casey, same thing, okay? Market snapshots are the same thing as property alerts, and this is how you would set them up. It's just a little different, okay? And then going over to market reports. Basically, the market report gives the client information about their home value in the sold area, medium home value, and what sold recently. Basically gives them an idea of what is happening in the area. It also gives an estimate of their home value. So best practice underneath the frequency right over here is to set this for quarterly. You might want to send this to everyone in your pipeline to stay stay top of mind. Okay. So that's it for the property alerts. I don't want to overwhelm you guys all, but there's, like I said, there's that separate training session that's all just based on property alerts. So I would recommend going to that one. And then the quick thing that I wanted to talk about, we're in settings still, okay? Go to templates and click into email. This is where you can craft your email templates by scratch, from scratch, sorry. And all you have to do is just scroll, when you're in the email templates tab right over here, you want to scroll down and click add a template. And this is where you can name your template. This is not customer facing, but the subject line is, okay? And then you can add this to any folders that you would have created up here, and I'll go through that in a bit. And this is where you can start utilizing these options to craft your email, and then you can always preview it before you save it, okay? And then you're going to notice that there's like an action column with the gear wheel icon. Very simple. Whatever templates that you would have created in this section here, you can either move it to a folder, edit, delete, or copy. Now the folders are going to be housed up here. So you can differentiate this by a private folder or shared with me, where you're sharing with the team, okay? But essentially, this is where you click to add a folder, name the folder. You can share it with, just if you want to be private to yourself, then keep it as my folder. But if you want to share it with your team, then you can click team folder and then click save. And then again, underneath the action column, this is where you make edits. You can either edit the folder that you would have created or just delete the folder. It's up to you. But it's very simple in this section. This is where you can craft your emails from scratch. And the reason why I wanted to show this to you guys is because when you start building your own smart plans, you want to take the time to build out your email templates first, whatever the goal that you have in mind, before going and crafting your smart plans. Okay, so the other thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about underneath this section here is this next tab over, which is automated emails. So we were talking about automated emails earlier, right? Like welcome emails and property alerts and whatnot. This is where you can edit your verbiage. Okay, so we're just talking about property alerts, right? So the name here is property alerts with single properties or multiple properties. Mind you, you can't delete these because these are embedded within the system here. But you could definitely edit them. Okay. So you can definitely edit them to market more of your brand. So if you're enabling the property alerts, you can go in here, make edits to what your email will look like when the email gets sent out to your clients, and you can utilize these options, and then you can press save. Now, the other key thing that I wanted to bring up here too is that if you go further up, just click on this drop down here. When you guys had your website set up and you're ready to go, any clients that are registering on your website, you can have the option to send out welcome emails. So Casey, your website's good to go, like it's live and you guys are good with the edits. Okay, perfect. Then if you're cool with that and you guys want to have the option of sending welcome emails, then this is where you want to toggle it on. But if you don't want it, you don't want the system to send out a welcome email to your clients who are registering your website, you want to toggle it off. You do have the option of sending it manually, but mind you, you always want to hover over these question mark icons, right? So again, you can click on the pen and pad icon to make edits to these templates. So you can, you can edit it to market more for your branding. purposes. I know that some brokerages, Casey, if you guys work more like a team, you might want to craft out like a defaulted template so they can copy and paste it and put it into here so everybody can be aligned and sound the same. But if you guys aren't picky in that sense, then yes, then all is good. But
So
anyways, this is, yeah,
if
sorry,
we turn-
Casey.
If we turn this on now, mine's turned off because it was off initially while we were getting the website finished.
Yep.
If we now turn it on, is it going to send these welcome emails to buyers and sellers that I've already put into the system, or will it only automatically send to them in the future?
In the future.
Okay. Is there a way that you would recommend? So now that, well, for Chris's site, for example, or even if I want to send them to everybody that we've got as leads, send a welcome saying, hey, we've launched a new website. We have all this new search capability. Would I just do that by creating an email and mass sending it out to everybody that hasn't bounced? Is that?
Yeah, you would have to create a separate email for that for sure.
Okay,
Because
that's
these
fine.
ones are, yeah, these
That's
ones
fine.
are more specific for anybody registering in your system.
Okay, great.
Okay, so yes, so this is completely up to you guys. I don't know how things are being structured there, but this is where you get to toggle it on and off or send it manually. And then next over is the email templates report tab. For any templates that you would have created within the system here, you can actually see I would just focus on the open rate total here. You can see which templates are working and which one isn't. So anything that's considered 20% or more is considered decent. Anything below 20%, you might want to go back into that template that you would have created in this section here and tweak it up a bit. Okay, so that's essentially it for templates. And then I'm just gonna quickly go through lead capture here. We're almost done. Sorry, and integrations. So if you go into integrations here, you want to integrate as much as you can in this section here. Mind you, it's not mandatory to integrate everything in this section here, okay? But of course you want to connect your email to Lofty, so you want to connect it through here, right? Because it's super important to keep track of your communications with your clients. And also if you're using another lead source, you usually get an email notification, and we are able to parse those emails and pull the lead info into Lofty as long as we are properly integrated in this section over here. And also for the calendars too, like you'll see right over here, it's also a good idea to integrate your calendar, especially if you are using the appointments feature. So now we have many other integrations here that you can set up an open API code key for integrations that can be found on the bottom of this section if you need to use it. So down here, okay, Casey, this is more for you. And then some people ask, like, why should you integrate your email? Integrating your email is important because all emails that are sent to a lead's profile will be recorded inside the lead's profile. We know exactly what was sent, when it was sent, and our technology tells us if the email was opened or not. Okay. So essentially whatever that you want to integrate in this section will be here. Okay.
I asked this question in Facebook, and Douglas responded. He said in this article, but he didn't attach an article, so I'm just going to have to go look for it. And then someone else wasn't really sure the answer. What is the benefit of integrating our dot loop if integrating dot loop does not pull those leads into our leads? Why would we integrate dot loop?
That's only if you want to utilize the transactions feature. And to be quite honest, the transactions feature is not highly utilized within the Lofty system because there needs to be more tweaking, if you wanted me to be honest with you about it. Essentially, the transactions feature is just mainly just to record and organize, your communications within that transaction or whatnot. But we definitely are tweaking it to making it better. But if the functionality doesn't exist within Dotloop to do that, and it's going to just benefit you to do it without, then just keep it the way you have it.
That's our biggest challenge is we're not able to figure out how for people to get their leads out of dot loop and into Lofty.
Into Lofty. Okay, what I'll do is I'll have to check up that Help Center article on Dotloop, and then I'll get back to you on that one. So basically you're just having troubles. Okay, so Dotloop.
It's a dot loop issue. Dot loop doesn't allow you to export the leads just in a straightforward fashion. It needs you to connect to API Nation and something else. And And I think it was gonna cost like $90 or something to export. I don't know. We're all still a little bit confused about that.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll get more information for you on that one.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And then that's it for integrations. And the last thing that I want to talk about here would be the lead capture portion of things. So basically, if you're going to be currently getting leads from Zillow or Realtor.com or Facebook ads, you can connect your accounts by selecting lead capture here, and we'll be able to pull that lead's details into Lofty so that you can better manage it. If you use any other sites, you can scroll down, like if you're up here, you can scroll all the way down here, okay? And basically, you can click into here and it'll show you how to add that that third-party partner through there. But at the same time, you can forward the new lead notification emails to Lofty support and ask if they can set up a new lead parsing rule for you. That's why the last conversation we had, Casey, that's why I wanted you to send that email. So we might have to create a new lead parsing rule. But if you click into here, you guys will learn more about lead capture and how email parsing is within the Lofty system. Okay. So now a cool thing I wanted to show you here underneath lead capture is if you click into the lead capture settings, you'll see all of the third-party companies that we partner up with, and this is where you can set up the settings. So as you can see, there's 34 pages worth. That's a heck of a lot of third-party companies that we partner up with. So you might want to go through all of this. If you don't see them listed here, then see if we can reach out to support and help you out with that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for today's session. It did take a little bit longer than normal with the questions that we had, and that's totally okay. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys are supported and whatnot. So before we end off this session, does anybody else have any more questions at all?
Do I have anything? Teresa, I know you're at home. You got anything? Okay.
Okay.
Kimberly, I think we're good. I really appreciate it. You all feel like this was,
Yeah.
You feel a little bit more aware?
Do you guys feel
Okay.
better after this training session?
I did.
Okay, that's good. Carolyn was here for the one the other day and she says I do, so that's great. Then we will look forward to next Wednesday when we'll all be together again to do lead management.
Okay, and I'll send over this deck for you guys, okay? You guys will get all of this information here, okay? I won't go through every single one because I know that there's a lot of information and I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But otherwise, if there's any questions, reach out to Lofty Support, CC Casey. If they don't get to you on time, Casey, just forward it to me.
Will do. I appreciate it, Kimberly. I hope you have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye, guys.
Thanks.